Ladies and gentlemen, please give a special Mile House City welcome to the greatest mixed martial artist of a generation. Ballerina, make some noise and show your appreciation for the two-time one flyweight MMA champion of the world, Mighty Mouse, Demetrious Johnson!
So we've been expecting it a while, but DJ made it official at the last one event on Friday. He has retired from MMA, and if you haven't seen DJ fight, you've missed out. Look him up at least a little bit. So at the very least, you should watch his flying armbar on Ray Borg. And yeah, DJ, he still holds the UFC record for consecutive title defenses with 11. And my inquiring mind wanted to know whether the UFC would put Mighty Mouse into the Hall of Fame. And then Lazy News has not been lazy tonight and has broken the news as we were chatting before the show that indeed Dana has come out with an unprecedented amount of rush. So yeah, I'll let Lazy take over since he broke the news to me.
Well, I guess we'll just get right into the news portion of that. On all credit to the original source on this, guys, it has to go to John Morgan of Grind City Media and other MMA outlets who apparently interviewed Dana following yesterday night's UFC Fight Night 242 in Las Vegas. And when asked about the induction of Demetrious, which was on the minds of tons of MMA podcasters and fans alike, he apparently said, yeah, Dana said that Demetrious will absolutely be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Here, if I could, Demetrious Johnson, I don't know if you got to see, he retired from MMA competition last night. He might grapple a little bit. Obviously, inaugural flyweight champion. Just curious what you could say about him in retrospect, knowing he's not, I know he finished his career somewhere else, but what do you think about what he meant to the company, and do we see him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Listen, if you go back to when he was here, I was defending him from the fans,
right.
You know? So who's defended Demetrious Johnson more than me? Good for him. You know, incredible career he had, and I've never had a problem with Demetrious Johnson.
I think he might grapple and that sort of stuff, but no more MMA. Do we see him in the UFC Hall of Fame at some point?
Absolutely.
Love to hear it.
Like we were talking about before the show, to me, the most surprising and interesting part of that whole statement is the immediacy with how quickly he's agreeing to let Demetrious in. I think the fans and those in the know would, all be in unison in saying that he does deserve to be in the UFC Hall of Fame. But we know Dana can be a bit petty, and their relationship didn't end on the greatest note. So for him to man up and say, yeah, Demetrious is definitely going to be inducted, that's pretty big. But yeah, man, as far as the retirement itself, fucking what can you say about Mighty Mouse, dude? Like, literally the definition of a video game character in the cage. A lot of people have tossed that around, but it's so true. And to bounce off of that, one of my favorite things about DJ was he was one of the first guys to get a really big sponsorship in the UFC, like a big brand name when he got the Xbox sponsorship. And I thought that was super cool back in the day to see a guy with the Xbox logo on their trunks. And he's just always been a really good dude, phenomenal fighter, really great guy outside of the cage. You got to give him his flowers. He deserved him when he was fighting and never really got him as a 125er, which is a shame. The smaller guys don't get their due respect. If DJ had been 6'4", everyone in the fucking entire UFC would have been in trouble. But yeah, dude, just a fucking great career. Couple of little small nuggets to drop in here, along with the one that Danger already mentioned. DJ holds the UFC flyweight records for most wins with 13, the longest winning streak with 13, and the most finishes with 7. So people always said that his fights were boring. I mean, go back and watch the shit. The guy was phenomenal in there. So yeah, props and kudos. Great career.
Is it okay? Yeah, no, Mouse is more than deserving. I would say he's a lot more deserving than some of the people who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, more so than a lot of the guys that are there currently. And if I'm going to be honest, this shouldn't even have been a discussion. He should have already just been parlayed as, hey, he's a shoe-in no matter what. Doesn't matter where he ended up. Doesn't matter how they ended their relationship with the UFC. He's going in. If they weren't going to do that, there would have been a large outcry in support of DJ. Also, at least they can induct him with all 11 of his title belts that the UFC happened to take, if you guys remember correctly. They kind of duped him on that one, and that was kind of shitty to begin with. But hey, at least he's getting into the Hall of Fame. If he could take a picture again, with all of his titles on stage, it'd be a good little final farewell to Mighty Mouse. And I mean, if you can remember how a lot of his fights went, like he faced a lot of the lower class or lower weight class guys that were just elite. I mean, his war with John Dotson the first time they fought, I remember watching that on Fox, right? And that was a great fight altogether. That was like the beginning of his run, and it was like, oh, you knew we were watching something special because that dude was nearly put out twice in the first 2 rounds, and then came back to just bludgeon John Dotson, which was a great fight altogether. But like, you just watched his work; it was very methodical. He did not waste movement, did not waste time, and happy trails to the man. Wish we could have seen more of him. Not sure why we didn't inside of one, but that's neither here nor there. Thankfully, one was gracious to him and respectful of his wants and wishes. So, happy trails and great career, Mighty Mouse. We'll miss you.
Yeah. Neither of you mentioned his scrap with Rod Tang, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For the 2 rounds it lasted.
I would say also that he's kind of a guy that, for this newer generation of fans that came into the game post-COVID, he's a really good guy to go back and take a look at his career, like you guys were saying, just to get a better feel for why he does garner so much respect, especially amongst his peers. Like, if you hear the other fighters talk about him, he's one of the most highly regarded guys, not just for his abilities, but also for his fight IQ. Like, a brilliant mind as well as a athlete.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
Did you want to say something else there, Austin, or was that just a random outburst?
Nah. I mean, it's kind of hard to kind of just say, Mighty Mouse there's only so many words you can use because they've all been said before. Mighty Mouse was something special in the fact that it's his ending his career in one, and then also the fact that he holds all these records, and the UFC was more than willing to give him an opportunity, especially in Dana White, considering how everything went with them, and how things are still going with a flyweight division. It says a lot about who DJ is as a person.
Absolutely.
one last thing to just add to cap it all off.
Probably not lazy. Not one last thing.
Got me there. For a career of firsts, which DJ had a lot of firsts and a lot of records that he has set and held. He became the first person also to be inducted into the One Championship Hall of Fame Friday night. So if Dana does keep his word and put him in the UFC Hall of Fame, I think he'll also be the first guy ever to be in both of their Hall of Fames simultaneously.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't realize one had a Hall of Fame to begin with, but that's fine.
I do find it quite mildly amusing that one's setting up in Colorado, which of course was where we saw the first ever UFC event.
Yeah. I think it's no coincidence. I think they're pretty lenient on the rule sets, and they allow for them to bring their one rules.
Yeah, their knee strikes at grounded opponents and all that good stuff.
Mm.